crisis. More on that. Joining us live now is Russia Today's correspondent Paula Slier in Amman. Paula, what more can you tell us about the G8 members that are holding this summit in Jordan?
Well, Hassan, the Forum for the Future is a two-day forum that gets underway along the shores of the Dead Sea here in Jordan. It is being, as you say, co-chaired by Russia. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is in town and he will be participating in several of the sessions tomorrow, Friday. Now, the forum falls within the framework of the partnership initiative of G8 countries as well as the Middle East North African region. Essentially, the workshops are centered around lifting countries in this part of the world economically and financially. But this particular forum will focus on three primary situations. These include the political crisis in Lebanon, the Israel-Palestinian conflict, as well as the growing sectarian violence in Iraq. Now, the Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson has said that the main emphasis of the forum this year will be on the Palestinian question, and that falls in line with what the Jordanian King Abdullah earlier remarked. He has said that this is the central issue in terms of creating stability in this part of the region. The Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson also did say, however, that consideration needed to be given to the countries participating and to what they see as their priorities.
Now, Paula, as well, Amman was the same place where earlier we had U.S. President George W. Bush and Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki meeting, and we had that press conference as well. Why was that meeting taking place now? What more can you tell us about that?
Well, the meeting comes hot on the heels of a remark made by the Jordanian King Abdullah in which he said last Sunday that unless, and here I'm quoting, drastic action was taken, this region would be plunged into multiple civil wars by the beginning of next year. He was talking about the crisis in Lebanon, the growing sectarian violence in Iraq, and also the Israel-Palestinian conflict. The violence in Iraq has been growing dramatically, particularly over the past few days, the past few weeks. So many were hoping that this was an opportunity for the American President George W. Bush and the Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki to get together and to possibly offer some new solutions in terms of how to counter this growing violence. But if people were hoping for that, they were bitterly disappointed. Nothing new came out of this meeting. It was a lot of the same rhetoric that has been rehashed in the past. Iraqis are still left asking themselves what kind of protection are they being offered in the future? How will their Iraqi security forces defend them? And at the same time, how will militias be forced to disarm? Now, we heard from both the American president and the Iraqi prime minister that they have no intention of partitioning Iraq into sectarian sectors. Both leaders said that this would only lead to sectarian violence. At the same time, both leaders did stress the need for a speedy handover of security from the American forces to the Iraqi police and the Iraqi security forces, but the American president George W. Bush saying that this would only happen when the Iraqi government told him that they wanted it to happen.
Now, the U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice is also in the region, presumably part of the same U.S. diplomatic offensive that is being stepped up in the region as a whole.
Well, it is part of that, but it very much is part of what happened on Saturday night, and that was when a shaky ceasefire was agreed to by the Palestinians and the Israelis. The Israeli army withdrew from Gaza, and in response, Palestinian militants agreed to stop firing Qassam rockets at southern Israeli towns. Now, this morning, Thursday, Condoleezza Rice traveled to the West Bank city of Jericho. There she met with the Palestinian president, Mahmoud Abbas. She said that she very much wanted to maximize on these latest developments to see some kind of return to the peace roadmap. She also said that she was going to work hard with Israelis and Palestinians to try and improve the daily lives of ordinary Palestinians, and she also urged for this ceasefire to be extended to the West Bank. The Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, for his side, said that all talks to create a Palestinian government of national unity had deadlocked, and he was going to announce in the coming days what kind of alternative steps he was going to take. In the afternoon, she traveled to Jerusalem. There she met with the Israeli Premier Ehud Olmert, the Israeli Foreign Minister Tzipi Livni. She updated them on her meeting with Abbas, and in response, Olmert updated her on a meeting he had earlier with the Egyptian intelligence chief Omar Suleiman in terms of the release of that kidnapped Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit. And Omar Suleiman saying that he expects a deal to be finalized within the next 3 weeks. Israel not expressing as much optimism. They're concerned by a demand by Hamas's political bureau chief Khalid Mashal, who sits in Damascus. He says that he is insisting insisting that Marwan Barghouti, a Fatah leader who has been imprisoned in Israel for life, he's insisting that he be released as part of any deal to secure the release of Gilad Shalit.
All right, Paula Sliya live in Amman. Many thanks. Well, U.S. President George Bush has praised Nouri al-Maliki as the right guy, in his words, for Iraq and pledged to keep U.S. troops in the country as long as al-Maliki's government wants them there. The